because I'm experimenting with this new thing that I found. So today I am live on Facebook and I'm also live on YouTube simultaneously. We are going big, or you are going home. And what we're talking about today is simple. We're talking about the three negotiations that I know of, anyways, that Kaizer Chiefs ended up missing out on a player because they changed the price in their negotiations. And the latest player who has talked about this is Evanga. And I know that people will say, Hampilo, but Evanga went to Pirates and it didn't perform. Wada, 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 wada. But I would want to say to you that yes, Evanga went to Pirates and it didn't perform. But that does not mean he was not doing well enough before he went to Pirates, because we don't just know that Chiefs wanted to Evanga. Uzwane even name dropped to Evanga, because remember when I was asked who is going to be the coach, which player would you want Kaizer Chiefs to sign? And then was like, look, one of the players, where do we go if we wanna get players? And then he mentioned Evanga. I said, where do you go? Because you have about Evanga, but are we going to get him? Are we not going to get him? So it's clear to me that Vele Uzwane did want to Evanga. He's one of those players that he wanted in his squad, but the Chiefs ended up not getting him. And from an interview that he made, Evanga actually does say that before he actually signed for Amazulu, what happened? What happened was the fact that Chiefs offered him a deal. Ne? So they offered him a deal, and he says the deal was really good. And that deal apparently was so good that even when they reduced it, the deal that they initially offered him, even when they reduced that deal, the offer that they gave him, it was still more than what Pirates offered him, not to even mention Amazon. But that's not the point. The point is, Chiefs came to an agreement with Evanga and his agent. They agreed to this is the price, this is how much you are going to be paying for whoever got to come to Kaizer Chiefs. And what did Chiefs end up doing? They ended up saying, you know what, we're changing our minds on this. We are not going to be paying you this much. We're not going to be paying this much for you. And then what ended up happening is the agent of Evanga called to Evanga and told him, listen, there's been some change of plans here, and we can no longer go to Chiefs because we don't trust them anymore. And I know that people will say, but now Evanga, why are these agents interfering with players and stuff like that? To which I will say, okay, fine. Agents might have a problem, but at the same time, are we going to negotiate? Are we going to ignore the fact that Kaizer Chiefs came to an agreement with the player? We're not talking about negotiations here, because he says the only thing that was left to do was to sign. So are you telling me that we are going to blame a player or the players' agents for saying, you know what, I cannot trust Chiefs anymore because they came to us and they said, this is what they want to do, this is how much money they are willing to pay. But then all of a sudden, they changed their minds and said, you know what, that's not what we are going to pay. We're not going to pay that much. So I understand from the agent side, Tuguti, if I'm an agent and I see that I might be entering in a relationship, my player might enter into a relationship with someone who is dishonest, then that becomes problematic. Because if the Chiefs are going to say they are going to do one thing and do another, then that means they might screw you over. And the reason why I think that this whoever guy is not lying is because he doesn't hide the fact that Chiefs were offering him more money. He doesn't hide that fact. He does reveal everything. Would know. Uh, I actually was ready to go to Chiefs. I was ready to go to Chiefs. The problem was they changed their minds, and I realized which I could not trust them. And this is where people will say, yeah, Chiefs seem to have these SPAZA shop mentality thing of, you know what, we can do whatever we want. We can change our minds when we want. And I don't think that's acceptable at all, because you cannot just go around saying, oh, let's change our minds whenever it suits us, because it's business and you're expecting better from a club like Kaizer Chiefs, because I mean, We always talk about how Chiefs is like, what's this thing? Chiefs is the most professional team in South African football, but from time to time, they seem to actually say the opposite, because they then do things that you don't understand. Uguti, why would you then in your right mind do such thing? Because now basically whichever agent there is, that means even that if that agent has a good player again, are they going to trust the Chiefs? No, of course not. Why would they trust a team that clearly changes their minds from time to time? So I do think that that might just become problematic for Chiefs going forward. And I've just pasted a link in case someone wants to join a show here. So uh w- w- speaking of players, that's the first player, Uevanga, and he's actually that one person who, what's this thing? He's that one person who has spoken out. Another player who actually did the same thing, or who I can say the same thing happened with him, is Ukabatino Mango. You remember Uti Upobi wakhuluma waze wabambelela. What do they call it in Zulu? He vehemently denied it. That's not Zulu. But in any case, he went on public TV, national TV, and said, "We are talking to some people, but Gabatino Mango is not one of them," which was a lie. Multiple sources have confirmed to me, and I will not be telling you my sources are, Uguti actually Ukabatino Mango was indeed on his way to Kaizer Chiefs. But then, you know what happened? The same situation happened. Uh, they pulled out of the deal once again, and then they ended up, because also remember, this was not in the Batino Mango last year. It wasn't just reported by Ilatuma, right? Because we've established that we seem to have trust issues with Ilatum. But this was not just reported by Ilatum, but it was reported by other sources ukuthi no, uGabatino Mango is going to Kaizer Chiefs. Gabatino Mango is going to Kaizer Chiefs. But then what happened? Nothing happened, because Chiefs changed their minds, and then you ended up with the situation whereby Ugabatino Mango ended up going to Swallows. Why is my comment section so quiet? Now I'm getting worried. It's like I'm talking to myself here. Uncommented ngitshela ukuthi oh, nangu Blade bese ngithuka Blade ngithi kanti who am I live to? Blade is saying, who are those names of people you don't want to tell us about? Tell us your source. If I tell you my source, then yeah, bona, we abandoning the culture. Yeah, culture. Culture, yeah, culture. We're abandoning the culture of the secrecy of sources. So Indaba Kabatino Mango is another player, because every one of us were hearing and we're even debating. Some people saying no, Mango shouldn't come to Chiefs, because it was just all over. And as you know, guys, as you know, when it's kick off or Latuma, whoever, we usually have our reservations, because we're like, these ones have lied to us way too much. But with Mango, it wasn't the case, man. It wasn't the case. It was like, yeah, we can really see what this thing is happening. I, but it ended up not happening. So to me, that makes me think, yeah, it was really happening, but Chiefs dropped the ball. I'm trying to literally check Uguti, is my stream live on Facebook or not? So because I wanna know Uguti, if people are commenting there, I don't want them to be left behind. Yes, you see this thing of broadcasting things on by your own. It does suck, but hey, we grow. I would think funda my comments, and because now people are commenting. Umesi is saying washo vele ukuthi Chiefs is losing control of everything. Hayi ngempela mfethu, think about it ukuthi imagine ukuthi right now we're living in a world of social media, and the Chiefs, there are things that they've been doing vele for a very long time that they were able to get away with, because wow, I even forgot. It's fine. Things that Chiefs are no longer able to get away with. Reason being, people now talk easy, and that is why you'll find that each Chiefs actually will do something like what's this thing? they will actually, they have, I'm image, right? I understand that's a different story for another day, but they make sure that the players who are chiefs, they control whatever that they're saying. Reason being, they don't want to end up in a situation whereby their players are coming out expressing their frustrations and all of that stuff. So each chiefs has to control every aspect of a player, and everything that they post, so that they can avoid that. And from a business perspective, I understand and I respect that. I'm not gonna sit here and say, "Oh, hey, why are they controlling players?" It's understandable, but in terms of other things, I do feel like they still do some shady things, and those shady things do not, what's the word? They cannot get away with them anymore, because things just get out in public. And because abo evangana abo, they end up in situations, or players, they end up in situations whereby they don't want to snitch on the other team, because you don't want to go around talking bad about Chiefs, because you don't know where your future will be with Kaizer Chiefs. So you end up just saying, you know what, yeah, it happened, what happened, blah blah blah, but there are no hard feelings. But you know very well good there are hard feelings. So I think there is a very big problem. Uh, who played is messing with me. Oh, Khosi Robert is saying our problem is Bobby Mtaung Baba. He thinks we are toys made in China. Oh, that comment is quoted. Yes, and you know what's worse? What's worse about our team, as much as we love it, it's the fact that Abo Bob, they always accuse us of being emotional. I'm gonna talk about the third player in a moment, but they always want to accuse us of being emotional, or of doing this and doing that. But at the end of the day, I'm definitely not live on Facebook. At the end of the day, they are the ones who are actually causing us to be in the situation that we are in the first place. Because if you don't take your fans seriously, what is that implying about people who are your biggest, like, stakeholders? Because fans are very important, but our team does not really show uguti, we value our fans. Like, they don't, it doesn't show. Like, I'm not trying to blow my horn here, but I'm saying that if Mina, as a content creator, I care about the quality, the sound, investing in the sound, and all of those things, and investing in this and that and this and that, so that the show can be as best as possible, or making sure Guti, you guys enjoy the show. Bona, it doesn't seem to me like they actually care. Each Chiefs in the times, they are doing what they want to do, how they want to do, to a point ukuthi ubhoba zasho vele ukuthi no, no, vele, this is a family business. So you're not gonna come out here and tell me, as a coach ukuthi, as a, yeah, we here sekunomuntu ojoinile. I didn't put them on a lobby. uh Anyways, we have Usnako on the show, who's not showing his face, for some reason. But let's welcome Usnako. Snako, welcome to the show, sir.
Moja mpilo moja bethu Ukraine.
Hayi, ngikrend wena unjani?
Ukraine bethu. Ey, awabethu ngisebunyameni la bethu ugesi awufuni ukukhanya nginey'nkinga so ningixolele.
Hayi, bazokulalela abantu. You are actually the first person to come live. You see what I'm talking about? I've now made sure that I
First,
invest
serious.
on the, yeah, eh,
I'm the first person, like serious.
yeah, you are the first person who has joined the show live. Most people are either scared or something like that. So you're a good demonstration. Oh, by the way, I also bought the subscription today because I wanted fans to join the show as well. But anyways, what are your thoughts on what we're talking about, Namhlanje?
Impilo bethu angazi like ukuthi i-Chiefs singayinikeza like i-idea enjani as ama-fans or whatsoever. But mina I sometimes think indlela yokuthi sivele si-strike mhlawumbe indlela yethu yoku-strike as abalandeli sivele siye kuye-stadium and futhi secondly sivele siye lona siye kuthenga amajezi because that's the thing la benza khona imali eningi. the only way ukuthi mhlambe se-strike maybe I don't know because into leyo
mm,
lokhane sifuna ukushaya ozwane sifuna ukubashaya onseki
mm,
like ayiyenzi sense lento leyo because isifake enkingeni kwayithina leyo nto leyo yabo.
mm, mm. And it's interesting because I posted something like that today. But ngifuna ukukubuza since you are here ukuthi, do you think then it would make any difference because bayenza amajita ngo-2020 but some of the things have not been addressed? Ucabanga ukuthi ngawenza nomehluko if people go there to Naturen again? That's very important.
Like kanjani?
Ukubuyela futhi ngoba uthi ba strike nje, do you think it would help?
Hey, kazi mfethu, cause mfethu angithi phela indlela yabo aba-generate-a ngayo imali yabo, ba-generate-a ngokuthi abantu bayafika ey'tediyamu. Khona la wakwa-mention-a khona ukuthi isikhathi esiningi ey'tediyamu kufika abantu abawu-30,000 probably even though asigcwali yabo. 30,000 is a lot of money. Angazi ithikithi liyimalini, angikaze ngiye e-stadium yabo but ngiyafisa ukuya. But manje
Mm,
sengivele ngibe demotivated ngingafuni ukuya ngenxa yokuthi i-team yami iyadliwa. But naloko
mm,
ukuthi like bayafika abantu e-stadium, they make a lot of money ngalokho. Manje if mangase
mm,
abalandeli bayeke nje mfethu angazi kodwa maybe. Manje kodwa into enkinga ukuthi siyayithanda le team, tough ukuthi siyiyeke ngoba phela ima
mm.
ukuthi siyayiyeka so support yiphi enye i-team because we are very
Yeah.
loyal to this team. Like ever since mina ngasupport i-Chiefs mfethu 2010 idliwa i-Pirates. Ngisakhumbula kwakwini in 2010 I was trying to go against my sister because siswama support i-Pirates. But ever since then I've been loving i-team. Kodwa mesidliwa kanje mfethu kuba buhlungu mfethu. Kuba buhlungu
Mm,
strong.
mm. Yeah, ngiyakuzwa mfethu, and I understand that because I've been saying this because I don't respect people who change their teams. So Vele, there's no scenario whereby we're saying we're leaving the Chiefs. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, mfethu.
But yeah. Kodwa kona nogesi wakho enyoka nyoka uthi uplay isinakho ngakutshela ukuthi
Ah,
whatever
hayi,
yeka ugesi wezinyoka.
angina-guess mina nyoka nyoka wena.
Yeah.
Hayi i-globe yala eCameroon ithi engasifani mfethu. Samele ngithenge nje.
All right. Kusasa ke before ujoin ishow uthenge iglobe yaseCameroon uze abantu bezokubona because abazi ukuthi uyisipoko esakude bese
Eh,
singabonakala. Yeah, awuthi
ulwazi
ngiphinele
wathi
lo
ngishintshe i-room bekungcono. Ngcono ngishintshe i-room ngoba ngathi ngizoba senkingeni.
othune nyoka nyoka.
Ukuthi abazali
Mawusashintsha
abekho so manje ngiyabusa mfethu namhlanje.
awuthi ngifunde le comment wena usashintsha iroom.
Ya
Umpumelelo
uyangibona
Z
manje?
ngisalindile ukuthi uvele. Oh ya ngiyakubona ke manje. Noma network yakhe ingekho make sure.
Sure.
Eh yeah. So uthi umpumelelo, the image rights clause is common in football and sports in general, especially abroad. The issue with Charlie was they did want to pay separately for image rights. They wanted to sign on fees. No, I understand in the bagachal because what are your thoughts about this thing? Yama image rights Uguti. I don't think there's a problem with it. Uguti basically a club owns
There
Yama.
is.
Mm, I'm saying I understand it. I'm not against it. I'm just
Yabo
saying that.
bafo lento le. Oh. Angaqhubeka bafo Nxesi.
Yeah, ngithi mina I understand indaba yama image rights because basically what ends up happening is vele you are controlling ukuthi abadlali bakho they don't post anything because they are associated with your brand. So I respect that. I understand that. The problem that I have ukuthi at times I feel like Chiefs are doing sneaky things behind the back. That's the thing that I don't like. Like the current moment that we're talking about here, Uguti, they were changing their negotiations and things that they'd agreed on with certain people. That's what I don't like. I understand image rights, I understand everything, but angifuni ukuthi benze izinto shady because they know ukuthi they control the narrative ngaso sonke isikhathi. But what is your thought wesinakho ngendaba yama image rights ukuthi Chiefs is basically they own whatever you are posting. They can decide to take it down. What are your thoughts?
Ay yabo leyo mfethu ngibuye nginga-understand because mfethu like iy'thombe engiy'shutha mina ne like
Mm,
I just want to create my own memories yabo.
mm-hmm,
Nginga-understand uma ngase kuthiwa ngabe bathi iy'thombe yabo like I should block out mhlambe ilogo ye-Adidas mhlambe ngigqoke isikibha se-Adidas yabo, or noma ngiblock
mm-hmm,
out ezinye i-brand just because phela ngithi ngumdlali we-Chiefs yabo, mhlambe ngithi mina ngabe ngigqoke u-Nike kanje but ngigqoke enye i-brand.
mm,
Nginga-understand uma ngase kuthiwa angiblock out izinto ey'thile, but for lo ukuthi iy'thombe like kuthiwa ibona abazoyi-own iy'thombe zami every time engiphosta into bazonaka yonke into, ayi ngeke leyo nto leyo phethi it sometimes feels a bit uncomfortable yabo,
mm.
angazi kodwa.
Yeah, I think vele bona abalwi nokuthi poster. Balwa nokuthi whatever you are posting, thina masifuna ukuthi kususe uzokususa. Thina masithi 1 uzothi 2.
Ah,
Yabo. So essentially everything because
mm,
umdlali wethu wena. We were in charge.
yeah,
Kweshulumen B. Yabo.
mm,
So I'm saying mina I understand it. I understand it. But there's something Umpumelelo is saying because he's following up. Uti, my point is teams pay for image rights. Chiefs was dodgy because they tried to use his sign-on fees to pay for the rights and not say, oh, I get it, I get it. So oh yeah, I think it's gonna be also important for me to elaborate on the image rights thing to other people who are watching. Uguti. So what happens with image rights usually is that each team has to pay the money to own the rights of your pictures. Uguti everything we post kuzoba eyethu, but manje bathi i-Chiefs yona instead of wanting to pay for that separately bayenza yona yaba i-sign-on fee, which is not a thing because the sign-on fee is a different thing
mm,
kwi-negotiation because une-salary kube ne-sign-on fee bese kube nemali yama-image rights. I-Chiefs yona izama ukusinika inland okujali, and then that's the reason why it became problematic, which is by the way another player who we lost because they kind of changed what they wanted to do. Yabo. So indaba ilapha ekutheni i-Chiefs they get very sneaky. But while we're on Jalo Snako, ngithi mina,
mm. Hayi
do
ukuthi
you think in eh? No kulum.
hayi kuqhubeka.
No,
Yes.
ngikubuza ukuthi wena, what were you saying? What were you saying? Bese ngiqedile ukukhuluma mina.
Oh, mina bengifuna ukubuza ukuthi like kanti kahle kahle le ndaba le kaJali hayi ukuthi bamreach ngenxa yokuthi yena kuthiwa ngazi ukuthi unama ill discipline ngenxa yokuthi wayephuze and whatsoever lapha kwi-Sundowns, or noma
No,
mhlambe kwakuyistory ababefuna ukukhava ngaso leso ukuthi batshengise ukuthi bam-reject or something.
no, Ujalo rejects the Chiefs because the Chiefs were sneaking in indaba what's this thing? Indaba yokuthi wayifaka this the image rights thing, but beyifaka ngendlela wrong. Uyabo, cause ayikho wrong image rights issue, but
Mm.
indlela abayenza ngayo, that's what makes it wrong. There's a difference because abo Madrid they own ama image rights ka Jude Bellingham. That's why Mbappe, one of the things ate ifuna maye Madrid ubengafuni ukuthi ama rights akhe, ama image rights akhe abe ngaphansi kwe Madrid, ubefuna ukucontrola still izinto zakhe. So there was the difference.
Mm.
But in any
Makes
case, mina
sense.
I think Booz, when do you think it Chiefs in any case were they even supposed to go after Uchal? In your own opinion, last year?
In my own opinion, ish.
Mm,
For ngalesa sikhathi when we needed a defensive midfielder before, whilst kungakaveli ukuthi liphi elinye i-defensive midfielder abangalanda, we could have gone for Andile Jali because umuntu one-experience, like lo muntu usene-experience kakhulu ebholeni yabo, and
Yeah.
futhi he could have been like awuma ngasusa ngabe mhlawumbe bekade efikele mhlawumbe manje ngaba stress ngendaba yokuthi sifuna ukapteni mhlawumbe ngabe sivele sagaxa uandile Jali uma ukuthi songabe bekade umdlali weChiefs vele manje, but since sagcina simyekile angazi ngathini, but hey le andile Jali nje I'm not sure ukuthi ngathini ngayo yabo, but kodwa ngale
Yeah.
nkathi sasidinga i-defensive midfielder ngempela, but I think wayezofit.
Yeah, that's the thing ukuthi wayengafitha based on his abilities ukuthi he can play. Inkinga kaJali was never really is he talented enough. The problem has always been the discipline part because even if you look at the players be Chiefs, imost yabo omdansane basuspendiwe, okhune basuspendiwe, indaba yotshwala kubo bonke labantu laba. So yabo ukuthi
Hey,
adding a adding a player like Uchali to Chiefs was not really going to help the team uh, better. You understand? So I
sure.
do think that for me personally, I think that we did indeed dodge the bullet. Which brings us to the third player. Well, this kind of the fourth because says counted no Charlie manje. So
Sure.
umdlali engikhuluma ngaye manje is who's this guy? Umduduzi Mdantsane. And yes, I know Umduduzi Mdantsane is already at Chiefs, but last year Chiefs wanted to sign Umduduzi Mdantsane in January, ne? And what actually ended up happening is that there were changes in negotiations, and Umduduzi Mdantsane ended up coming to Chiefs in June last year. So it's once again one of those issues of saying yes, Umduduzi Mdantsane has not become a superstar at Chiefs, but how many other players do we not know of who actually got signed late or were never signed at all because Chiefs decided to change our negotiations? Uh, I will ask you a similar question, Uguti. With Umduduzi Mdantsane, do you think it was then a good idea for the club to end up going for him? Ngoba manje akadlali as we speak.
I think like Mdantsane, what they wanted to do was to add umdlalo ozocompete with uNgcobo, because angithi uRadebe usabelo uRadebe umdlalo ade engasetshenziswa vele, like bese ukuthi nobalo uMahlatsi bengadlali bebemdedela bebezomdedela vele, uMahlow is all alone uhlezi injured, so I think they wanted to try and add someone owayezocompete noNgcobo yabo, which is omunye umdlalo obekade creative okade ne-best season vele kwi-Cape Town City yabo, like at some point uzowanyukelwa naye value ngaze ngayibona iko 1.2 million, and I was wondering ukuthi hayibo i-Chiefs izomthenga kanjani lo mdlali because he's so expensive right now yabo, because nanokuthi nalento leyo ukuthi ayifuna ukukhipha imali i-Chiefs yabo. So I was like okay, yazi umlando uMdantsane maybe it's gonna create a competition yabo, izoyenza i-team abadlali ba-challengeane, and futhi you always mentioned that uNkosi Ngiphile Ngcobo was gaining weight, mhlawumbe it would have made uNkosi Ngiphile Ngcobo start to fight. It's okay, no, there's another guy manje obekade edlala kahle kwenye team manje is coming to this team, is coming to take my place yabo, uzozama ukuthi naye athukulwa kangcono manje, but it didn't work. NoSithebe naye was an attacking midfielder, washintshwa wayiswe emuva kwi-defensive midfield, a lot of things changed and like akuqondakali mfethu yabo. But I think the reason why baletha uMdantsane is because they wanted to create more competition with attacking midfield, but now it seems like it's not working.
Fun enough, I think it was more than competition. Feels like bebefuna nokuthi I abe starter vele because when he first came under Nsegi anyways, he was even starting games. He dropped the ball and then ended up getting dropped from the starting 11. But I definitely hear what you're saying. Hayi wesinakho mina
Yeah.
ngizothi ngiyabonga ukuthi usijoyine namhlanje. I'll let you go now because ngifuna ukuthi sivale ishow.
Yabonga mfethu impilo mfethu, uthi yobuye ibonane next time.
Izobuya ibonane next time. Ekuse. Okay, so now one of the things that Usnako mentioned that is important, I think, in the competition. But before ngikhulume ngalento, let me read this comment ka Mpumelelo saying, remember that they what they did to extend when they let him go before the Nedbank Cup final. Same with Malulega. Uh, and Hunt, emotional decisions. That is true. That is very true. Chiefs do seem or does seem to just do things emotionally and not actually think logically and how those decisions might affect them in the long term. And these shady dealings are continuing and they're disrupting our club. I hope, this is a big I hope, that they are learning, but it's been too long and it's not clear that they are actually learning. But anyways, we are done for the week. We'll see you when I post then tomorrow's video about the starting 11 and after Saturday as well. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, remember equals al pelumo.